Hey guys, before we get started, just wanted to quickly give Josh a shout out. He came out the other day to help me put together some of these clips for this video, and it was really fun to actually play this game on multiplayer for the first on 4-player setup. So today we're going to continue our series where we rank the hardest chapters in Zombie Army 4, and this is part 2 where we will go over all of the DLC maps. Alright, so the first one we're going to start off with is actually For Whom the Bell Tolls under Terror Lab. Now, what makes this map so difficult is the sheer amount of zombies that you have to kill, right? Now, you're in a little town, you go through 3 areas, and the first one you have to kill like a horde of zombies before you can actually go through the second area. Now, the last area is actually the hardest part, where you have to kill a bunch of suiciders, a bunch of sniper zombies that are on the building tops, and we all know how crazy things get on Brutal. And after you activate the statue and blow it up, you actually have to kill, I believe it's 4 gunners and 2 commanders before you're actually allowed to enter the safe room. So it is really interesting. There will be a point where you have to kill a bunch of suiciders because they're just constantly going to come after you, and that's why for this map the challenge here is to kill 25 enemies with suicider explosions, because it's just way too much. And imagine having them in your face while getting shot by sniper zombies. Alright, so number 9 is Cultists of Chaos. Now, the funny thing is with Terror Lab, right? When this DLC first came out, at City of Secrets, there were 4 blind screamers at the beginning, right? And I don't know if someone said that it was too difficult or the devs thought it was too difficult, because you had to kill these 4 suicide screamers before you could actually beat the chapter, right? Now, the funny thing is, I think they moved the screamers from the front of that area and put them in Cultists of Chaos, because as soon as you enter this area, you are greeted with 4 blind screamers on 4-player setup, and you have to kill these screamers before you do anything else. Because after you add the skulls on top of the pillars, you're basically going to activate the hordes that are going to start coming out, right? And you don't want to deal with the hordes while dealing with blind screamers at the same time, so it's best you kill them first. And when you come here, like, even if you charge your melee attack from the chapter before, you can only kill 1. So what I usually do is take the FG42 and just mow down these monsters, right? Now, after you activate the horde, there are a few things that you have to take into consideration. At some point, you will trigger gunners who will come out. I believe you will fight 2 gunners, you will trigger 2 butchers, and you will trigger 4 commanders to actually beat this area. Now, it is fun, but the area is really small, and that is what makes it so difficult, because you're trapped in one room, and if you go up the stairs, you're trapped in some narrow corridors, and then you will have zombies coming from sewers and little holes that you don't expect, and they'll just surround you. Alright, this is the 4th chapter under blood count, and going down is actually the most interesting because you have to go through this really small area. I mean, you start out at the top right, where it's really open, and what you're given, the objectives you're given is really simple and straightforward. And you also have those, I believe they're called mulchers, those traps that you activate on the wall, and it basically like sucks up the zombies and kill them for you. You can kill that one flamer that will spawn there. It's very easy. After you go down to the next area, you go through some really narrow corridors where you have to activate, charge up some blood vials or something to open the doors. You will have, I would say, 1 gunner, because after I went back through here, I saw 1 gunner, but it was usually 2 before, right? Before you actually go down to the last area where you will fight hordes of zombies. You will have sniper zombies in this really tiny area, right? In the last part, you will have sniper zombies like jumping around and shooting you, and even rocket snipers as well. After you kill them, you have the hordes with suiciders, and then at the end you will spawn 2 butchers, and you have to kill the butchers to actually beat the chapter, which will take you to number 7. Number 7 is Under Deeper Than Hell, and we are going to talk about Nazis at the center of the earth, right? Now, this is really difficult, I would say, because going through this area, you're underground, you're in the mines, right? Really narrow areas. Most of the time, you're fighting creepers, you're fighting suiciders, you're fighting commanders, suicide generals. Most of the time, you have to fight, what are they called again? Grenadiers, armor giants, and like I said, the numbers in this really small area is what really makes it so difficult. Now, the first part is really easy, even on 4-player brutal, but after you open that door, yes, that specific door, and you are at the center of the earth, right? You are going to given an objective. You will be given an objective which you are supposed to turn on a generator to open the safe room. Now, when you activate that generator, and you are going to trigger 2 butchers on 4-player setup, right? And we're talking about how difficult this is on easy, because it gets worse on brutal, right? You are going to trigger 2 butchers, you have to kill them. Now, after you activate the generator, they are going to tell you to activate 2 junction boxes. Now, the thing is, the wrong thing to do here is to speedrun activating these boxes, because every box you activate will actually trigger different spawns. You will trigger flamers, you will trigger gunners, and you will trigger even more sniper zombies, right? So the best thing to do here is actually to activate the generator, kill the zombies that come with the generator, activate 1 junction box, kill those zombies, and then activate the last junction box and kill those zombies, and this should be easier. Okay, now number 8 is actually Under Damnation Valley, and this will be chapter 2, The Great Escape. Now, The Great Escape is really fun. The Great Escape is really fun because when you start out, you're going through, after you leave the safe room, you have to survive a siege. And then after you survive that siege and you go on the inside, you think it's over, but you actually have to survive another siege, which is actually worse than the one before, because this one has 2 gunners. And I don't know, like, oddly enough, on brutal, I think these gunners have better aim or something, because they track you really well, right? And you know bullets do a lot of damage, especially if you're using Shola. After you survive this siege, you go on the inside where you have to turn on the power for the area, right? And to turn on the power, you are going to be in this really tiny area where you are going to trigger 2 butchers and a horde of zombies blocking the door. Now, I don't know how you're going to deal with this, but it should be really fun for you guys. All right, after you beat them, you come out, you have to fight another gunner with hordes of zombies, right? Just to show you that there is a surprise around every corner in this, right? After you beat that, you go down the stairs. Now, before, this guy wasn't here, but now you actually have a blind screamer waiting for you in this really narrow path. All right, after you get rid of that creeper, or that screamer, blind screamer I should say, you go on the inside, right? Now, the first time I played this, it was a little easier. It was hard, but now it's harder, I should say, right? Because when you go on the inside, before, what made it a little bit easier is that the blood that's in the area was actually at your ankles, I should say, or it wasn't as high. It was probably like at your calf, but now the water is all the way up to your waist. And I actually noticed this after my second playthrough, right? The water is now at your waist, and it makes you really hard to move. So before, like, I was able to run away from the butchers in this area, but now, like, trust me, you're going to get destroyed if you don't kill those butchers with those fan traps on the wall. And then after you go on the inside, you can basically speed run to the safe room. All right, our next chapter is Will It Blend. Now, Will It Blend is it was a really interesting map when I played it the first time. I mean, I got destroyed so many times. I had to make a video talking about like how I thought it was impossible, right? Now, the thing with Will It Blend is just like the Great Escape, there is a surprise around every corner, right? Now, the funny thing with this chapter is that some of the special or elite zombies that spawn here are randomly generated, right? So it's not a constant. You can't say, oh, I'm just going to get 2 butchers here, I'm just going to get 2 gunners here, because they are random, right? Now, you go through the area. First, you have to protect this generator that you activated. Now here you can spawn either 2 suicide generals, or you can spawn 2 commanders. It's very random. You'll just have to wait until you see. You get 2 gunners here, or it can be 2 butchers, I believe. After you pass this area, you have to activate the mulcher. After you pass this area, you have to go and turn on the charge some energy at the last area. And then here, it's pretty random. You can either spawn 2 suicide generals or 2 commanders from memory, and you either get 2 flamers or you get 2 gunners. It's very random, so you'll just have to wait. But the funny thing is, on this area you actually have those fan traps to help you kill these gunners or flamers, whoever you get. All right, after that you go to the last area where you have to activate the elevator and wait for it. Now in this area, what makes it so difficult is the positioning of the ammo box, right? It's in an area that's like really hard to reach. The zombies flow very awkwardly in this area unless you understand how it works. But the thing is, you just have to like destroy the zombies, survive the hordes that are going to pop up, and then in the last part you are going to get 2 shadow demons, and you are going to get I believe it's 4 commanders, 3 or 4 commanders, and you have to just kill these guys to be able to beat this chapter. All right, very fun, very easy. So on to the next one. So our next chapter is actually going to be under Alpine Blitz, and I mean, like, I have to give it to these guys at Rebellion and Flix Interactive for working on these maps, because like the newer DLCs get even better, right? So if you think the ones before were hard or were interesting, they keep adding on that and just give it this slight edge that makes it better than before, and I love that, right? Now the thing is, under Alpine Blitz, the first difficult map you are going to find is Ghost Town. Now Ghost Town, it's just really, it's something, right? You start out in a cave and you have to survive a siege in a cave, right? After you leave the cave, you have to go through a spooky forest where you have to kill, sniper zombies. And in the spooky forest, you have 1 blind screamer hidden somewhere, right? Now, you can choose to avoid him or you can take him out, whichever is always fun. At the door, you have to survive a siege from these zombies before the door is unlocked, and then when you go on the inside, you activate a bell where now you are going to spawn, I believe it's 3 necromancers and 2 shadow demons on 4-player setup, right, with hordes of zombies. So you just need to like learn how to just maneuver these guys and take these guys out, but they are extremely difficult if you aren't prepared for them. Next, you have to wait to unlock the last area, so you have to blow up a truck, survive another siege. It's really easy. And then after you go on the inside and go to the door, you spawn 2 commanders, I believe, right? And after you spawn the 2 commanders, you are going to have a bunch of sniper zombies on the building tops, which makes it really difficult because we know that sniper zombies can be pretty obnoxious. After you beat these guys and you activate both of these generators, you are going to spawn 1 meat track. Is it a meat track? I can never remember what it's called, but it's that little tank thing that drops zombies on the ground, the zombie half track. So you just need to beat that and then you can go on the inside. This area is very intense though, because I have to talk about the sheer number of zombies that are in this area, rushing you down while getting sniped by sniper zombies. The next chapter is No Fly Zone. Now, No Fly Zone was pretty difficult for me on 4-player Brutal, because like first you have to collect the canisters, right, to get fuel to the plane. and each area just comes with different challenges, because the first area you go through, you have that flamer with the hordes of zombies, and then you also have zombies from different areas pushing you in this area. After you collect the first can, you spawn sniper zombies, you kill those, you come out, you have zombies still pushing you, stopping you from going to the plane, right? Drop off the first can, go to the next area, you have a bunch of armored giants, and you will get one butcher in this area, and we know that butchers are crazy, right? You go through, you pick up the second can, you spawn a bunch of sniper zombies again all over the building tops, right? It's so the idea for me is I usually pick up the can, drop it there, kill the sniper zombies, because if you go on the outside, you're basically dead, because they are going to jump around the entire area, and even in some really far areas. And on brutal, like sniping is it's really difficult on brutal because it reflects reality, like for most of you guys who played Sniper Elite, right? Because you need to have that wind and that velocity in your mind, right? That bullet drop and everything. So wind, gravity. So it's best you try and kill them from this area, looking on the building top. All right, you go on the outside, and then this is where the hard part really starts, because you are going to trigger enormous amounts of zombies, because this is the last map, and they are infinite spawns, right? You will get suiciders from everywhere. You are going to get multiple gunners. You are going to get necromancers, commanders, suicide generals, and these guys are going to spawn in the area that is outside of your reach, because you cannot go in the area they are. You have to just survive and wait until they get closer, but to do that you have to kill the zombies that are pushing you, or if you have that godlike aim, you can basically snipe them from where you are. All right, so no fly zone, one of the most difficult on or in the DLC. Now the second hardest map in the DLCs of Zombie Army 4 at the end of season 2 is A Long Way Down. Now A Long Way Down is actually under Dead Zeppelin, and it is basically you riding a little trolley to enter a base, right? Now after you survive the first siege from these zombies, right, riding on this little thing, you trigger a bunch of sniper zombies all over the place. Now the first time I was doing this, I had no idea what I was going to do, right? Now lucky enough, I discovered that you can just crouch right at the front of the trolley, and you won't get shot by the snipers because they can't see you, right, unless they go behind you. Now the thing is, you get snipers, you get rocket snipers as well, right? And the hardest part is that you need to clear these snipers before you go to the last area, because if you go to the last area and they're still alive, you are going to get sniped, right? And that's what makes it so difficult. Now you go to this the in-between area, you have to kill, I believe it's like 2 gunners. You get the key, you activate the trolley again. Now you have to survive one of those hell rocket things that are on the wall. It's like an eyeball with a gun. It shoots you while you're in the trolley. Because it's like really hard to destroy on brutal difficulty. And then the last area, you basically have to survive a siege from these zombies, suiciders, armor giants. You get 2 commanders, and you will get 2 gunners at the end. All right, really fun and really difficult at the same time, which brings us to number 1. And number 1 is actually Mausoleum of Madness, which is the 4th chapter under Deeper Than Hell. Now, Mausoleum of Madness on 4-player brutal, it is actually madness. I don't know if this is even possible, because I've never done it before. I've only played it on 4-player easy, and I had a really hard time. I barely scraped through this, right? Because this is where Schweiger is activating his thing, right? His hell machine or his hell generator or whatever it is. And like, eventually you will get ammo box spawned in, you will get gold boxes spawned in with special items. Now the funny thing is, you have to survive hordes of zombies, creepers, and we all know how creepers are annoying. The suiciders are even more annoying, right? We are going to get projections, which are like electrified versions of Schweiger. And the funny thing is, these things are going to come in different forms. They are going to be enraged zombies, they are going to be commanders, they are going to be suicide generals. Like, if you really observe them, they do reflect the zombies that you fight on a daily basis, right? While surviving regular zombies, because you are going to have armor giants pushing you at the same time, you have to beat these projections. You have to survive energy overflow from the machine that Schweiger is building, right? Because there will be electrical energy like shooting all over the area, and you can get hit by it, right? And then after you blow up a few of the cans, you are going to trigger tons and tons of sniper projections. Like, it's pretty insane how this map is designed. I think it is designed to be impossible on 4-player brutal, right? So I've never even attempted it. I just think it's madness. And even after you beat while you're fighting these zombies, right, the projections and the electrical energy and the sniper zombies, you are going to have the machine that Schweiger is building with guns on it, shooting tracking rockets at you, the skull rockets that track you, which is pretty crazy. So like I said, guys, I've never even attempted this one. But that is the end of this video. This is my list. Let me know what you think in the comment section, guys. It was fun making these videos. So thank you all, and do have a great day. All right.